Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Pareto rule in regards to in regards to your Google My Business listing, and we're going to try and get you guys the kind of the most important things that you can do to generate better results from your Google My Business listing. So this is all part of our Digital Dominance Method webinar series. It's an ongoing series throughout the year where we talk about each aspect of each opportunity for you to generate a lead for your roofing business through digital marketing. So your Google My Business listing, pay-per-click advertising was our last one, search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization. So as we're going through the year, make sure you tune into these. I hope that you guys find them very helpful and for your roofing business. And I need your attentions, please. The next 60 minutes can be really important. It can generate a lot of results for your roofing business. A lot of good calls, a lot of good leads. So, along with everyone here, if we could all turn off our cell phones, I'll put mine on Do Not Disturb right now, to give you guys my full attention, and I hope you guys give me your full attention. I know it's a lot of times we'll get on something like this and just start surfing around the web and turning on Facebook. But if you're serious about your business, and getting better results from your Google My Business listing, the next hour that you spend with us, I think it's going to be really impactful for you. So what we're going to cover today is kind of the latest updates with Google My Business listings, the 5 biggest issues that could prevent you from ranking, our proven model for ranking in the 3-pack, the best tools to systematize and automate the heavy lifting, and then some new things, what Google is testing and how you can get prepared for what might be coming from Google and kind of be ahead of your competition. So if you don't know who we are, if this is your first time on a call, I see a few of some regulars on here. But if this is the first time you're joining us and you haven't really heard of us very much, my name is Jim Aline. I'm the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, along with Brian Niebler. We're the authors of Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors: How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. We're active members of the NRCA. We work with roofing businesses across the United States, coast to coast, north to south. We're widely accepted as the premier experts in internet marketing for roofing businesses. We get brought in to speak. I was just brought in to speak with GAF 360 and Hover. We get focused in a lot of different areas. I'm also the host of the Roofing Success podcast. So if you haven't checked that out on your favorite streaming service. And this is what we do all day, every day, right? We generate results for roofing contractors. We generate revenue through the lead generation that we do through the digital marketing efforts that our team provides. But the mission of Roofer Marketers is to help roofing contractors generate more sales and revenue through their digital marketing efforts. So it's not only through the people that we work with as clients. We want to achieve our mission through through the education that we have out there also. So this is all part of our mission. Really what we want to talk about today is, do Google Maps matter? And of course that, it's kind of a funny question to ask even at this point in time. If you don't know that Google Maps matter, Alex, yes, a replay will be available. In today's climate, Google Maps really, has a great impact on the results that you're going to get from your online marketing efforts. About 44% of all clicks and calls, up to 44% of all clicks and calls, we find through our clients that between 35 and 45% of all their clicks and calls come through the Google Maps listings. So it's extremely, extremely important for us to really focus on this. People really put their attention there. This is, I don't know, when you're looking for a plumber or HVAC company or an electrician or something, or a dentist even, or something in your area, for me personally, I go to the maps. I find that's the first place that I go to. If I don't find something suitable there, then I'll move down into the organic listings, maybe check out some of the paid listings beyond that. But the map section is, is really where I search and where most people are, or a lot of people are finding you. So yes, Google Maps matter, right? And I think that, the way that human psychology works, it's going to continue to matter even more. And with some of the changes that Google is testing and tweaking, they're going to make it even more prevalent to be in the Maps section. So why Maps listings are important, right? It generates phone calls. You can see here one of our clients, Prominent Construction. This was for the year of, this was for 2019. They generated 335 unique calls through their Google My Business listing, right? That was the #1 way of people reaching out to their business. Secondly, to Google Organic, and then AdWords and the ad extensions in Facebook and things like that. So, this is really where the phone calls are coming from. So, Google Maps drives calls. We really have a philosophy that you need a comprehensive solution to your digital marketing efforts. You can't rely just on pay-per-click. You can't rely just on Google local service ads. You can't rely just on the map section, right? You can't rely just on SEO, just on organic. You can't rely just on Facebook ads. It's too difficult a market to just rely on one thing. It's difficult to have a successful business without having multiple lead sources coming in to your business. So first, we're going to talk about the biggest changes in the Google Maps listings, and we'll start with listings are very geographically based. This can vary depending on the search device, the location, the internet type. So, for example, if you're searching on mobile, you may get different results than if you're searching on a desktop computer, right? They may be slightly different. If you're on your mobile device, on your mobile data plan, Google is taking the geographic information from your mobile data plan. If you're on your desktop in your office at work and at the shop, it's going to base it's your results by the proximity of that location. If you're at home on your, at your computer on your home internet provider, you're going to see slightly different results. So very geographically based. There was a really big update last November that really tightened up that geography. Google is serving paid ads in the map results, right? So I always tell people most of the time you see 3 listings in the Google Maps section, but sometimes there is a 4th, and that 4th is an ad. So you have to be running Google Ads to even be able to get that into that ad spot. So that's extremely important to understand, and that's why the comprehensive solution really is the best way to go. Google Home Services, local service ads are live in almost every market now. It's very unlikely that you won't find Google local service ads in your market. The Google local service ads and the map are critical to complete the Google local service ads. It's critical to complete the advanced verification process. So here's a little bit of a proximity based kind of search here, right? We're up in the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities area. I did a search here from the Minneapolis side, and we get Prominent Construction, Central Roofing, Sellers Roofing. Then I did a search as if I was in St. Paul, right? 20 minutes away. We get a completely different set of results. Same search query, roofing companies, right? So that's something that you really, really would like to, internet type, Jason, that refers to, Wi-Fi versus mobile, things like that. Yeah. So, you really want to have to, another thing that I like to talk about is managing your expectations of these things, right? There are pluses and minuses for everything that you could do with your digital marketing. one of the negatives of your Google Maps listing is proximity, right? You're just not gonna, depending on the competition in your area, but the more competition in your area, the harder it is to get your Maps listing to show, even 2 miles, 3 miles, 5 miles away from your physical location. So, and then with these Google local service ads, home service ads, this has changed the way that people interact with the form. And I'm, little spoiler alert, but I'm going to bring in some of the things that Google is testing in regards to Google local service ads in conjunction with Google Maps listings a little bit later on. So, all of these impact search in a different way. This is what the search engine results page looks like for a search query in the roofing industry with commercial intent. When someone is searching not just for information, but there's a likelihood that they're going to make a call. There's a likelihood that they want to find someone to work with, right? That's when we have these Google local service ads at the top of the page. You have your pay-per-click Google AdWords right below that. You have your map with 3 to 4 companies listed in the map section, and then your organic, right? So those are all of your opportunities. But your Google local service ads, Google guaranteed, they're starting to test things, like I said, that are going to impact the map section. Your pay-per-click, your Google ads is impacting the map section by being able to run the ads in the map section. So all of this kind of runs in conjunction with each other. The way that your organic SEO is structured has an impact on your Google Maps listings. So if you're not signed up for Google local service ads, it's something that you should really be doing. Do it immediately, do it as fast as you can. This is not something that's going away, and this program is going to continue to get expanded. So if you go to adwords.google.com/local services, that's /sign up, that's where you could go and check that out. So, you really, an overall goal, if you have a real comprehensive solution, you're going to really own the search results, right? You're going to have your local service ads, you're going to have your AdWords running, your maps listing optimized. You're going to be working maybe on some third-party listings like Yelp and Home Advisor and things like that. And then you have your organic listings, your organic SEO tightened up also, and have some good rankings that way. So that's really, the comprehensive solution that you need to implement. In the map section, Google is really fighting, right? They're really fighting the spammers. They're really fighting those lead generation companies that go out there. We're in a lot of digital marketing groups, and there are a ton of strategies that digital marketers use to make fake maps listings. And then take any leads that they generate from that and sell it to the contractors in the area. And Google is on a mission to reduce these fake Google Maps listings. And just in February, they eliminated, it was over 2 million fake Google Maps listings. They've also gone in and they're trying to remove fake reviews. So that's a thing that they're combating all the time. Google has their artificial intelligence running non-stop, trying to get rid of fake reviews. So there are certain things that we'll go over here in a minute that you really want to have in place to make sure that your maps listing ranks in Google Maps, but also continues and doesn't get hit by one of these sweeps that Google does to eliminate the fake maps listings. So what could be hurting you in your maps listings? First, you need an office in the city that you're targeting to rank well in Google Maps. As I mentioned with the proximity factor and showed with the difference of Minneapolis to St. Paul, a physical location in that area is really what it takes, is really the foundation of what it takes to get listed in that Google Maps, in Google Maps for that area. So who on the call here has an office that is not in their target area? Maybe your perfect customer lives in on the west side of your metro, the city that you live in, but your but your office is on the east side of that city. Robert says me, right? So, that's a tough one. Melvin too. That's a real tough one, man. That's really a really strong factor. It's kind of funny, or a client that we took on recently out in New Jersey, they have an office in Fords, New Jersey, and that is not their target market. And when they came on board with us, we're like, man, they're like, we want business over here in Summit, and I can't remember the other names of the cities offhand, but we want these, but that's 15, 20 miles away. And I'm like, all right, well, you're going to have to move your office if you want your maps listing to show up in that area. It's like, oh yeah, we'll think about it. And 3 months into into working with us, and they're starting to generate a lot of phone calls now. And I get a phone call from him, and we're talking, and he's like, man, I got to get that office over in Summit. All of our calls are coming in exactly as you told us, right in our area. And he's like, I love that the phone is ringing, but I'd rather have those calls over there. So in that regard, you got to use some paid advertising, some SEO tactics to try and get ranked over in those areas, but your maps listing won't show up there. So I feel for you guys, Robert and Melvin. It's a tough one. Another thing that you don't want to do is try to spam Google with a bunch of fake locations, right? So, a lot of companies will go, they'll get an office, they'll use their grandma's address across town, and they'll use their cousin's address over here, and they'll use a post office box over there, and that stuff did work. It really did work. But back in February, when they did this big sweep, essentially they didn't just shut Google My Business Listings down. They asked for a re-verification. So in that re-verification process, they had you take pictures of your office building. They had you do a video walkthrough at times to show the Google representative that it was a real business. And all of those spammy fake things, they just won't work, right? That's going to continue to go away. If you're looking for short-term things, if you're a short-term type of person, those are things. But if you're looking to build a sustainable long-term lead flow, you really want to stay away from those. Another thing that might be hurting you is an inconsistent name, address, and phone number profile, what we refer to as NAP. This is another one of those 80-20 rules. Getting your name, address, and phone number really, really consistent across the internet is one of the main things that you could do to help improve your ranks. And then don't spam your city in your company name, right? We've seen this a lot over the years. Really spamming the map section. Sometimes you could spam it by adding things to your business name. You could add cities, you could add search queries. All of that stuff is going to start to penalize you over time. So those are things that could be, hindering your performance there on the maps. And then, do you have enough reviews, right, across the web, but specifically on your Google My Business listing? It's one thing to get ranked in the Google Maps, right, to show up in that 3-pack, but you have to have better reviews, than your competitors, right? If you or I we do a search and we're looking at 3 companies, and one has 125 4 or 5-star reviews, a 4.8 star rating. Another company has 10 reviews and a 5-star rating, and another company has 3 reviews and a 3.5-star rating, right? You're calling the person, most likely you're going to call the company with the most and best reviews, right? So you got to really, really focus on that. Our proven formula, right? This is that 20%. The 20% that'll get you 80% of the way there is through citation building, right? That, like I said, getting your name, address, and phone number spread across the internet in as many places across the internet as possible, but also in the correct sequence. Getting reviews, right? Optimizing your Google My Business listing and optimizing your website with on-page search engine optimization, on-page SEO. So essentially in that regard, we'll go into a little bit more, but getting the content on your website to match up with what you want Google to show your maps listing for. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. Make sure you have a login to your business account, update your company name, all of those things. Make sure that your website address is on there. Use a local phone number. 800 numbers really don't work. And, people are looking for a local company a lot of times. A local address, not a PO box, not a UPS store. Upload a lot of photos and continuously upload photos. Personal pictures, pictures of the team, pictures of the wrapped trucks. All of these things will build that authenticity when people are looking at your listing. List out your service area, all of the services that you provide. Make sure that your main category is selected as roofing contractor, right? If you want to show up for roofing, don't have your main category selected as general contractor. List your hours of operation and all of those things. You can see here, make sure that you list roofing contractor. If you do siding too, make that a secondary category, right? So make sure that your primary category matches what you're looking for. Google, we want to also be watching, kind of your customer insights over time, but adding images. Here's an example of some stuff that Prominent does, has done. One of our clients, pictures of projects, pictures of the team, winning awards, out at a trade show. You also want to make sure that you're selecting the types of roofs or types of making sure that your website matches the services that you provide. So we'll go into that in a second. Getting reviews is of course a big part of it. So best practices are updating your photos and adding them on a consistent basis, leveraging Google Posts by posting at least once every 30 to 60 days, preferably more. If you can possibly post on, every once a week or something like that. Responding to reviews is a great thing. It shows interaction with your customers. And answer questions that get posted. People can ask questions of your Google My Business listing. So building citations and consistency, again, lots of citations across the web. Consistent reference of company name, address, and phone number. You're going to hear that a lot this presentation, but that is the main thing, right? That is one thing that if you don't have in line, you're really going to have issues. Limit duplicate or incorrect business information. So you can do this by going to maps.google.com and type in your business name. You'll be able to see if there are multiple Google My Business listings for your business. Maybe you had someone working for you, or you hired a company and they built one, like they started one for you, and then you fired them, or that person doesn't work for you anymore, and then you had to open a new one because you couldn't get the password for that one or something like that. All of those different things. Or you moved your office and you just started a new Google My Business listing instead of moving the address on the old one. So many ways, but making sure that you don't have duplicate or incorrect business information. Within citation building, there are a few aggregators of this data: Factual, Axiom, Infogroup, Newstar. All of these companies, essentially, if you get your information into Factual, it gets distributed to multiple locations, multiple citation indexes around the internet. So doing that is extremely important. And that gives you kind of that leg up, that head start, right? You put your information in one place and it shows up in multiple places. The best tools for building citations, we use a combination of Yext and Bright Local, and then some manual citation building on top of that. Yext is going to get you kind of the big ones, right? If the 80-20 rule, in that 80-20 rule, that 20% rule, Yext will get you 80% of the way there. Bright Local is a service that will get you a little bit further. And then manual citation building in more local directories and niche specific, roofing specific directories will get you that 100% of the way there. But you can essentially, like with Yext, you sign up and you enter your information and it'll change. I think it's close to 60 citations of the major citations like Yahoo, Yelp, MapQuest, City Search, a lot of these places. It'll allow you to change them and manage that all in the same place. So if you would like a free citation check, we can run a report for you and get that to you. Message Nikki in the chat here, give her your name and email address and stuff like that, and we'll be able to run that for you. And you can get an idea of how consistent your name, address, and phone number is being displayed, how Google is finding it across the internet. So if you find that'll be helpful, shoot that over to Nikki, and we'll run a report. It'll look something like this. It'll look at essentially we'll pull your company in all of these different citation directories, and we'll be able to identify things that might be helpful. So looks like David or James here would like one. So we'll get that taken care of for you. Not a problem, man. Not a problem. So you want to manually claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. You want to use a tool like Yext, SynUp for that direct, kind of the direct connection to the top citation listings, right? Then you want to get listed in the major data aggregators. And then you want to leverage a tool like Bright Local or Whitespark to find kind of more niche listing opportunities, those ones that are more specific to your local area, maybe to the roofing business and specifically. So we'll be able to pull that for you and let you know that if you're interested. But for yourself, this is that 80-20 rule, right? So here's top citations for roofing companies, right? Home Advisor is a directory, right? So Google, you don't have to buy leads from Home Advisor, but if your company is listed on Home Advisor with your name, address, and phone number. Yellow Pages is big, right? Thumbtack, Better Business Bureau is huge. Angie's List, Yelp, Porch, Prime Buyers Report, Super Pages, Manta, Facebook, of course. All of these, having your website listed on, if you're a preferred contractor for GAF or Owens Corning, getting listed there. Those are huge, for your citation building process. YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel, having your name, address, and phone number properly displayed there. What are some other ones here? Guild Quality, ABC Supply, GAF. If you can get listed in those directories, man, those are really, really important to you showing up. Now let's talk about lots of real reviews, right? Real reviews from your customers. This is always a pain point for people, right? This is it's difficult to get reviews from your customers, right? Who finds it difficult to get reviews from their customers? Drop a 1 in the chat for me. No one. Everyone has 500 1-star review or 5-star reviews. Nope. Tom, David, us. Robert said, this is a tough one, man. It's one of the hardest. It's one of the biggest challenges, but can produce a great reward if you can do it right. So let's talk about some strategies for driving consistent reviews. The first thing to do is to leverage tools to request a review. I'll talk about that, Tom, in just a second. We'll talk about that. That's a good point. Leverage tools to request a review after every job is completed. Leave a printed review card, maybe. Train your crew to deliver a world-class experience, of course. Make a call after the job is completed. Build reviews and recognition into your company culture. So starting with the tools, there are tons of tools out there. There's a lot of different tools, right? We have Grade.us, we have ReviewBuzz, we have Bird Eye, we have this Gather Up. We have some of the other ones, Guild Quality, Pulse FN, Pulse is another one. All of these are tools, right? Don't let any of these reputation management tool companies make you think that the tool is going to solve your problem, right? The tool is just a tool, right? If you don't use your hammer, it sits on a shelf, right? It doesn't get you anything, right? So when you are using these tools, we use grade.us. We give all of our clients a grade.us account. But what it does, all of these tools allow you to do the same thing. They allow you to send emails, send text messages requesting a review. So like a little email sequence, like a 3 or 5 email sequence. Hey, have you left us a review? We'd really appreciate it. You know, those types of things. You could send them a text message. But none of these tools will get you a review if you don't ever ask, right? Asking for the review is the most important thing. That's the only way that you're going to get reviews. So here's some ideas for that, right? Depending on your company, you want to build it into your company culture, right? You want to build this in as, hey, this is what we do. Getting a review from the customer, from our homeowners, that's what we do. From the office staff to the salesmen, to the production crews, production managers, everybody is involved in asking for the review, right? Starting the conversation off with, starting the sales process off with, hey, if we do a great job for you, would you be willing to leave us a review on Google? Of course we will. Yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah, of course we will. All of them will say yes, right? Then throughout the process, hey, we're almost done, right? We're cleaning up. I got the crews cleaning up. We're, if we do a good job, are you still willing to give us that review on Google? Oh yeah, of course. All right, then you're coming down, you're doing your finals with them, maybe picking up a check. You want to try to meet them at their peak happiness moment, right? So that's where these tools come into play. So now you're sitting there with a homeowner, getting that final check, after that final walkthrough, whatever it is, and they're extremely happy with what you've done. Now it's time to ask, hey, you had mentioned that if we did a great job, you're willing to leave us a Google review. Will you be able to do that for us? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem, Tom. No problem, Mike. Yeah, for sure, man. We'll do that. We'll do that for you. That's where these tools come into play. Now you text them over that little quick link. Hey, can you do that for me now? Notice the awkward silence that I just did along with that, right? You almost have to kind of push really hard at getting those getting people to do that. But building it into your company culture, maybe providing a kind of an incentive program. I've heard of companies, I've spoken with companies that pay $500 per quarter to the employee that gets the most reviews, with a $2,500 bonus at the Christmas party for whoever got the most reviews over the year before that. Trophies. I've heard of companies doing trophies, special parking spots. You got to get creative and think about what'll work best within your company, but it's the most important thing. So now Tom had a question. Our competitors are getting a lot of fake reviews. It's apparent, but don't know what we can do. That's a tough one, right? I hope that Google continues to get better at getting rid of these fake reviews, and that over time they're going to start eliminating those. Really, the only thing that you can do is get more reviews for your company, right? You just have to continue the process and keep getting good reviews for your company. There's always going to be people trying to cheat the system, right? But I guess that, in my opinion, that's really the only thing that you can do. And I wish there was a better answer, Tom, but that's, it's unfortunate, but Google will continue Google will continue. Their artificial intelligence is, is learning, right? Is learning every day what it can do to make it a better experience. Google's core focus is to provide the best user experience to the searcher. So, getting rid of those fake reviews is going to be a big part of it. Another thing at the end here, when we start talking about these things that are coming up for Google, we'll get into that a little bit too, of how you might be able to outmaneuver those guys. On-page optimization is huge, right? This is huge for local maps listings, local maps rankings. You have to have, now so your website has a lot to do with the way that your Google My Business listing is showing up. You have to have pages about each and every service that you offer, right? Every type of roofing, system that you install, you should have at least a page for. Maybe multiple pages, right? So, for example, if you do metal roofing, you're going to have a page on your website about metal roofing. But along with that, maybe you have a page about stone-coated steel, standing seam, corrugated, steel, on and on, right? So getting even more granular into that content, because people don't search the exact same way, right? Some people might type in best metal roofing company near me. Someone else might type in standing seam roofing company, Dallas, Texas, right? There's going to be people type things in. So if you have a page on your website about standing seam, it's going to give you a better opportunity, a better chance of getting ranked in the maps section, because you have the content on your website, because Google understands the correlation. Your website is listed on your Google Maps listing. So it correlates that between the two. If you do tile, having tile content. If you do commercial, residential, right? You have all of these things very well defined. That will give you a better opportunity to rank in the map section for all of the different ways that people search. You want to have mention of your keywords and cities served on the homepage titles and within the content. So your website has to be optimized for the services that you provide and your service area. So specifically, if you're in the Minneapolis area, like Prominent Construction that we work with, their homepage is optimized for Minneapolis. So around roofers Minneapolis, roofing contractors Minneapolis, roofing companies Minneapolis, all of these things. And the words are in the right place on the page to give Google the right indication of what to show you for. You have to have service area pages with links to those nearby cities. So we want to make sure that we're defining all of the service area that we work in to Google. That's also giving them that, you're selecting your service area in your Google map, in your Google My Business listing. On your web page, there's information about your service area. You have your full name, address, and footer on the homepage linking to your Google Maps listing, right? Or a Google Maps embed. So when Google is crawling your website, it gets to your footer. It has your name, address, and phone number in it. It follows the link to your Google My Business listing and connects the dots, right? It sees your Google Maps listing, it goes back to your website. So it's giving that back and forth. There's also background code that you can install. It's called local schema markup. And that allows you to define your name, your address, your phone number, your hours, your services, all kinds of things that you can define in code in the background of your website, so that when Google reviews it, when Google crawls your website, it reads all of that code. So, again, here, on-page optimization, right? Having a lot of content, everything that you would like to rank for, making sure that you have that well-defined. having, the city names in your, in your content, the city that you're trying to rank in. Having your name, address, and phone number in the footer of the page linking to your Google My Business listing, right? Having service area pages for each of those service areas. Here's your title tag, meta description. You can see prominence, title tag, #1 roofers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, prominent construction. Call the #1 Minneapolis roofing company, right? We're giving Google the words that it needs to rank in those areas. So now we have a couple of questions here. Jason said, on what page or pages would I put local schema? It essentially gets embedded in all of your pages. You can use, there are certain WordPress plugins. If your website is in WordPress, you can use a lot of a WordPress plugin to insert that code in. Otherwise, you have to kind of fill it out manually, but you can go and it's an easy thing to do. So you just insert it and it'll go throughout your whole website. David is asking, how many GMB views is considered good in a month? That's a tough one. Because it depends on it really depends on your local area, right? You may, if you're in a smaller town, you may only get, a few hundred views a month, right? If you're in a large city, you could get, thousands of views per month. Really a strong indicator, David, I think is more in the calls that are being generated from that, right? Or maybe we'll get a chance to, maybe I'll take a peek if we have time and maybe look at some GMB rankings and things like that. And if we have some time. So now what is Google testing, right? What is Google testing? So one of the more recent ones that Google is testing is Google is offering an upgraded GMB profile with the Google Guaranteed badge for $50 a month. This isn't something that we've seen rolled out that's available in roofing yet, but this is something that they're testing. So what that will mean is that, the little Google Guaranteed check mark will now be in your maps listing, right? So that's what I was mentioning, Tom. If you're set up in the Google Guaranteed program, as this gets rolled out in your area, if on your Google Maps listing, you'll be able to have that Google Guaranteed check mark. So maybe that competitor with all those fake reviews, it might help you in that regard with the psychology of the searcher. So that's one of the things that Google is testing. Another thing that Google is testing is around the ratings that you have, right? So this was Roofing Companies Fort Worth, and we've seen it, and it's showing up in some cities and then going away. That's how we know that Google is testing it. But you can see here that now it's saying #2 rated roofing contractor in Fort Worth by Google users. Top rated roofing contractor in Fort Worth by Google users. Top rated, right? So your reviews are going to get more and more important, as that trust factor rolls on. So in continuing with that, that's what you got to do, man. Focus on those reviews. That's the one thing that you can really control, from your side of things. You do the basics, right? We do the basics. We, set up your Google My Business listing, get your citations out there, get your reviews out there, work on your on-page search, on your on-page SEO. And that's really the core foundation. And I'd love to, open this up for questions. I'm happy to share with, whatever you guys, have questions about. We'll take a little bit of time here and do that. So if anyone has a specific question, drop it in chat. Be happy to answer that for you. I'll give it a second. Feel free to keep dropping it in there if you have a question. So I know a lot of companies, a lot of people on here may, they're looking to do this work themselves. A lot of you are like, hey, I just want to get out there and sell roofs. For those of you who are maybe looking for someone to do it for you, feel free to reach out to us. We'll do a free lead flow acceleration system session with you. We'll analyze all of your online visibility. Figure out where you're ranking. Figure out what you need to do to get from the revenue that you're generating now to your revenue goals, and what the best plan of action would be there. So you could call us directly, 855-799-1252. You can also go to our website, roofermarketers.com, and schedule a call. So we do have a question here from Mike. So the Google local business is different than your GMB profile. I always was being told to not do my own ads, to do them through a Google partner. Your thoughts? Okay, so thoughts on that. Google My Business, to have a Google local, to be in the Google local service ads program, you have to have a Google My Business listing. So the Google My Business listing is free. The Google local service ads are a pay per lead system through Google. So anytime that you get a phone call through there, the lead cost ranges from about $30 to $60. So in that regard, you can do Google local service ads yourself. Right? There are best practices, and agencies like ours, we understand best practices and can help you with best practices. Really, the best practices in Google local service ads come down to having great reviews, answering your phone when the lead comes through, and dispositioning the leads properly on the back end. There's other kind of more tweaks that you can make in optimizing your profile and things like that, but that's that 80-20 rule, right? Now, what you were told to do is not run your own ads. Do not run. I would highly suggest having a qualified company, a qualified Google partner, or a qualified digital marketing agency, pay-per-click management company run your Google ads campaigns. Those are the ones that show up below the Google local service ads and above the map section. That's where I would suggest really to have a professional do that. We'd be happy to talk to you about that if that's something you're looking into. We do pay-per-click management. But does that answer your question, Mike? Is that good? Hopefully that's good. Got it. Thanks, Mike. David Wilson said, we're 100% commercial. How can we differentiate from the residential companies? Your differentiation, at its core is in the content on your website, right? So optimizing your website around commercial roofing, TPO, bitumen, PVC, whatever, all of the different roofing systems that you install built up, right? Optimizing around those search terms on your website. So, and then, things are happening though on the commercial side. Those Google local service ads are starting to show up when people type in commercial roofing companies. And so that's something that I would recommend that you guys get involved in. On the back end though, here's the issue on the back end is that Google hasn't created a category for commercial versus residential. So you may end up with some residential leads if you are in there. So that's a tough one. But it is starting to show for commercial. So now those residential companies are going to start getting some of those commercial leads. The difference between commercial and residential at its core is just search volume. One of the advantages that you can create in your company, David, is in your reviews. There are very few commercial roofing companies that are strictly commercial roofing with a lot of good reviews on Google, right? If you get to 50, if you got to 100 reviews as a commercial roofing company for your location, I bet that would have a major impact from the search perspective. But again, we know commercial roofing is a relationship-based business. There's not as many people that go online first to search for a commercial roofing as there is for a residential roofing company. But don't think that that isn't changing, right? That shift is being had. People are less and less likely to ask their neighbor, someone that they go to church with for a recommendation. People are Googling first. So David, I hope that helps you. Drop it in the chat there if you need anything, or any clarification on that. If you want a copy of our book, go to book.roofermarketers.com. It's just shipping and handling. Just pay shipping and handling. It has a great amount of detail in all of the things that we do in optimizing your Google My Business listing, running pay-per-click advertising, SEO, all of these things. Call us directly, 855-799-1252. You can just shoot Nikki a message, or go to roofermarketers.com/apply, or go to our homepage and just hit the schedule button. If you have not already, check out the Roofing Success podcast. I have a lot of great guests on there, a lot of really successful roofing contractor owners, roofing company owners, and also some sales coaches, industry consultants that will give you some great advice and help you with that. Another great source of information for you. Check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Facebook group, Roofing Marketing Mastermind. Just go to Facebook and search Roofing Marketing Mastermind. I hope you guys had a great, got some good information out of this today. Throw a 1 in the chat there if you got some good information, and we'd be happy to talk to you and let you know if you need anything from us, if we could help you out in any way. If you guys are interested, next month, I think next month's webinar is going to be on Google local service ads. So if you have any information, want to learn a little bit more about that and the best practices around Google local service ads, join us at the end of the month. And thanks for taking the time out of your day to spend with us. We really appreciate it. This is like I said, this is really part of the mission of Roofer Marketers, is to help you guys, generate more revenue through your digital marketing efforts. So thanks for taking the time, and we'll talk to you soon.